Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Chop AHDR Racing out on Zwift. Today we are out on Laguardia for the new Laguardia Loop for 10 laps out on the New York course on Zwift. We've got handicap racing, chop racing. It's all about all of the categories out there racing against each other. So the D category, C category, B category, and A categories, all different ability levels are out there racing against each other, trying to get the win for these 10 laps out on course here today. Joining me as usual, we got Pat Shaw coming from the land down under to keep us in the loop about chop racing. Pat, it's going to be fast and furious, I think, as usual out there. The D's are out on course already. And as they do get going here, we're going to turn down Zwift just a tad. But, we were chatting a little bit prior to the race today, and last week we saw the B category actually take a win just barely at the line. And what are we thinking for this week? I mean, I'm predicting a C category win. They seem pretty motivated.
Yeah, I saw that in the comments on Facebook just before we jumped on. I think, firstly, we should talk about how many starters, 215 total at the moment registered. Mind you, some of the A graders and B graders and also C grade categories still have time to sign in. But good to see the numbers swell once again in D grade. I think they might have just gone up over the 50 mark, which is really great to see. As we've gone through chop 1 week to the next, D grade is the group that's growing the most, and that's really, really positive because generally it would suggest that it's more of the riders that haven't raced much. It's great to see them racing on Zwift as a group in the chop racing. It's a really good way to learn about the racing and also learn about Zwift. So welcome to the new riders if they are also tuning into the stream. But I'm going to stick with B grade again. I've jumped on board the B grade night, so I'll follow them in another screen. But certainly think D grade weren't far off getting the mix right last week. And with 50 plus riders this week, it might just be the difference maker.
Yeah, they were right on the cusp of taking the win last week. Actually, it was right to the line and right at the last moment. It was the B category that was able to grab the win in the final 100 meters, I think it was. So, if the D category can get organized and hammer away out here today, we'll be able to see. I think the D category did really well on this loop, right up to the last lap. The last time we were out here, but the A category was able to take the win. I believe the last time we were out on this course. It is 1:44 to the start of the next the next category out there. It is the C category. My prediction on the day is going to be C category. They do have 62 riders in the pack here. A minute 30 to go to the start, and already we have some of the chatter here coming through from Crystal Simpson. Now, we did see a little bit of chatter beforehand as well. As we did see you guys over on socials as well as on Twitch and a few other places. Make sure to keep all of your comments coming on in. I do see Locus of Day in here over on Twitch here, letting everybody know exactly how you can interact with the broadcast. We love your comments. We love your questions. If you do have them, make sure to be bringing them in, and we will do our best to interact with the broadcast. We do see Wendy Mae Abbott. Hi, Nathan and Patty. Pat, always showing up for the broadcast. Good to see her out there. And she's cheering on Dalton and Hayden from what we can see here. Early in DC, Logan is letting us know that he's over on the East Coast. We're hearing from Tim Searle, the man himself from AHDR, letting us know that he's all about the Seas. And some questions here also coming from Barry ZA saying, any news on when Southern National Champs will be again? As soon as I do know, Barney, as soon as I do know, I will let you know in our broadcast, but I do not have any information for you just as of yet. So, C category seems to have a lot of energy behind it tonight here, Pat, and we'll have to see if they can take it and put it into the pedals with 8 seconds to go here. And a shout out to the ride leaders that are showing up. You do see the yellow in the game that is from the ride leaders, so they are. in the game, giving directions to the other riders, letting them know exactly what they need to do in order to best interact with the rest of the riders, as well as keep things organized. That's why they do have that beacon over their head. The bacon, a lot of times it's called. Welcome to AHDR, the choppers. You can see they start giving these directions. So, Pat, I think the beacon is very helpful to keep people organized because it is all about working together in the chop.
Yeah, and we're a little bit biased because we're pretty heavily in Crystal Simpson's corner. She's a great ride leader, and the C grade is just heading out there, hitting over 80 riders tonight, C grade. So, real big shout out to C grade. 80 subscribed to, maybe a couple just missed the start, but certainly those numbers, they're getting really big, and Crystal's a big draw card for that. So, she is the beacon for C grade. I think, though, tonight with the 3 minutes B grade and C grade, and 3 minutes for A grade to B grade. B grade's firmly the favourite. They're the favourite. It's their race to lose. And if C and D grade have got anything to say about it, I'm sure that they will lose tonight. But I'm looking for back-to-back wins for B grade. Focusing more about the ride leaders, though, Nathan, I think they're a fantastic part of the chop. And also for rides in general, for the group rides, more for the new riders that come along, but also I think a lot of racing, particularly the chop, are here for an educational session, also a bit of a training session, and they learn a lot from their ride leaders. So we can't undermine what they do, and we're very appreciative of their effort week because they are giving up their time effectively as well. So shout out to all the ride leaders, all the best to all the groups tonight. But you're backing the C's, I'm backing the B's.
We'll have to wait and see how it does play out. We are looking at the D category here out on course. Did you see the time gaps on the left-hand side of the screen at all times on this feed that we are following along with the D category right now? And it is a 4:49. So right off the bat here, we are seeing about 15, now 16 seconds being taken back by that C category at this point. What course is this tonight? Barney ZA is letting us know that chat wants to know. And this is the Laguardia loop. It is about a 2.8-kilometer loop, so it's not a very large loop. It's 10 laps, though, of that. So they're doing about 29 kilometers in total. It's got a couple of punches in it. They do head on over the little sprint section each lap. It is essentially one undulation with a fairly flat course, little bump in the road each lap that does give a little sting in the legs. So it's all about the high speeds, and something about this course, though, because of those continual high speeds, I do feel that because of that, it does lend to pure wattage a little bit out there rather than something more akin to some of the races that we do see out there that do have those, such as Innsbruck last week with the leg snapper. I do feel that C category and D category do have a pretty good shot at it because of the consistency of wattage rewarding speed out there, Pat.
Yeah, and definitely. And I suppose last week was a bit of an anomaly. I think that it probably shows how much the riders that take part in the chop week to have really learnt about the different courses as well, because they manage those difficult parts of the course on Innsbruck last week. That was a really good effort by all of the riders. It was just sort of A grade that really missed out in the end, but a great addition last week. It's going to be interesting to see how it all comes together this week, should I say. And we do continue to urge the groups to stick together and stay as a group, because that's your best chance. And then later in the race, try to maybe split it up when you know that you've got a chance to win. Because in previous weeks, really, the group that is the group that stays together best, Nathan. And chop racing or racing, it really does steer towards the group that can stay last. In Zwift, we know the bigger the group, the better the drafting as well. And on a course that's flat, drafting does a major part of your race. Also adding to that, use of your power-ups to help your group early on in the race rather than hold on to them just for the... Also help your group, and it could be the difference between sprinting for the win or maybe missing out by 30 seconds.
We are already seeing a little bit of encouragement here, actually, Pat, with the B category. Some of the riders here, looks like Park Life here, saying push Elias here. Now, right from the get-go, asking for a little bit more incentive here from the B category. 58 riders in the B category, so pretty large contingency of riders here showing up in this category out here today. So good to see that, and already on the front, we are seeing a couple of riders starting to push that pace. AW here now 4.2 or so watts per kilogram. We do like to talk about this being kind of like an over-under interval session, essentially, as these B category does get out on course. Absolutely flying, as you can see. So it'll be interesting to see what they can pull off here. Now with the D category, chasing them down, well, actually being chased down by that B category, but they only have 56, 57 seconds on them at this point ahead of them, because the lap is so small. There is a couple of, it's almost like the categories have to lap each other sometimes on these smaller courses, actually. And we are seeing the C category almost mixed up in and amongst them here at this point. And I do think that is because the C category do have to pass, I believe, the D category at least once out on course here today. I believe the A's will be jumping out on course here in just a moment too. So we'll have to be keeping an eye out on the total distance that the categories have traveled as well, to keep an eye on what the gaps actually are. But that is also why we do have this great feed jumping in here for us of our main feed that is out here for us, actually, and we can see what the gaps are exactly. It does look like the A category, I believe, has gotten out on course just now. 10:48 back from the D's, as you can see on the left-hand side of the course. For the B category, 7:22 back from the D's for the win. And the C category have brought back, it looks like, about 45 seconds. But the D category, as we're looking at them here, they're kind of mixed in with some of the C's here, and they're holding the gap pretty steady. This is interesting. If the C's need to make their way through this, they got to kind of go all in, because they're going to need to drop these D category riders off. Makes things a little more interesting with the laps being so short here.
It does, but I think if we remember rightly, a similar thing happened last time we raced on this course, Nathan, and the groups so the lower group of C or D, they tried to hold on to the higher group C or B. It ended up working detrimental to them. Yes, they held on to a big lead right down to the end, but they lost the final 3 laps of the course. And remember, that's 10 laps. Anything that's repetition is difficult. And so I would be smart about keeping yourself within that FTP. Don't start stepping over that too much early in the race, because, as I said, last time on this course, we did see the front groups really slow down towards the end, and A-grade just came clouds, so to speak. They were nowhere to be seen, written off for all money, and then they rode home by keeping a constant speed throughout the entire race of 10 laps. I've got to do a shout out as well tonight, Nathan, because week in and week out, we continue to see more and more of the junior category athletes joining us. And as I said, I am the B grade group secondarily to the team. And I'll give a shout out to Vanderploeg, under 15, Wolfpack Tasmania. It's great to see the 15s, under 17s jumping on, under 19s as well, jumping on and having a go. And also fantastic to see these Zwift Academy badges, because it's just such a great training plan that's through the academy. I really urge as many people as possible to jump on there, get a feel for what it's like to do a structured plan, an actual structured plan for a continued amount of time, and a difference maker in pushing you to the next level.
Have you signed up for the Zwift Academy, man? Because I did, Pat. I did that first workout, and I had quite a few stars failed, and I'm not sure if my FTP is too high or what's going on, but it was extremely difficult, that's for sure. And I think I also I was not using ERG mode. So ERG mode, for those who might be unfamiliar with what ERG mode is and how it works, is essentially the trainer forces you to do the wattage that is on the screen. And it was a push-pull, pushing threshold, pulling threshold. So pushing up just underneath your threshold workout, and then pulling from over your threshold, trying to pull it upward. And man, was that I ended up in the red a little bit too many times, overextending, and the workout's written well. And the reason I know it was written well is because if you do not pay attention to the wattage you're supposed to be doing and you go over, I mean,
You
you
pay the
end
price.
up paying the price. I paid the
Yeah.
price, that was for sure. I just stopped pedaling during some of that, man. So it was a great workout, and I definitely encourage everybody out there, sign up for Zwift Academy. Great workout, one of the largest online training communities. And if you want to go for it, and you're on the men's side of things, you're in that U23 range. You can get a chance at a pro continental contract, or amongst the women, you can get a chance at the Canyon SRAM Pro Team as well. So, pretty cool program that Zwift Academy is, Pat. And I'm really excited to see all the talent out here jumping in and completing the workouts.
Yeah, certainly. We see a lot of the past winners or participants join us in the major grades and all of the major series. We must give a shout out to the local boy from Ballarat, Nick White. He's just secured his selection World Championships in the under 23 race. He was in the final three that went to the Dimension Data training camp. He did that. Ollie Jones won it in that year. But it just shows you that if you're thereabouts, you're going to have a good few years ahead of you. And wish Nick and the Aussies all the best at Tootleavenir next weekend, and also onwards to World Championships later in the year in Yorkshire. So, yeah, it's a great program. I'm a strong believer in it. I've got my guys all participating in it again this year. And as I said, it's we, as a additive, should I say, so from as I've got them doing a training program, but most of their intensive days on the Zwift Academy training program, I give them a bit lighter workout, their training plan. You can use it as a combination as well, and it's certainly a fantastic opportunity for both male and female participants.
Yeah, just a real quick shout out to the viewers there. We are having a little bit, just so you know, Pat, as well. We're having a little bit of a breakup on Pat's mic here, just from an internet connection. We do connect all the way down to the land, down under, across the world, but it should get a little bit better as the broadcast does go on here. But just a heads up on everybody. No, there is not any issue on your end, but get enough of it through, I think, here to keep on keeping on with it. But we are seeing, it looks like here with the A category now, 29 riders. This seems to be a route where the pack tends to be right around that 20 to 30, but it absolutely just flying all the time here. As we are seeing about 30 miles per hour or so, 29 miles per hour here, 5+ watts per kilogram. And in and amongst him here, Jay Norton from SAP. We're seeing Zun from the KRT team here. Park Life. Now, do you want to give me a little bit of information on Park Life? You did give a shout out to this team in the past. Is this a local team down there, or I'm seeing this name across the B and the A category here, Pat?
I think Park Life is actually shop, but yeah, it's good to see some of the National Road Series riders in there as well. So Jesse Norton, you mentioned from the Subaru Anchor Point team, took part in the SRAM Senate Series earlier in the year. Yeah, there's plenty of teams now. I mean, it's a huge thing in Australia to create your own, get the custom made for outdoors, and those teams are now coming on to Zwift to also dominate Zwift as well, because there's that prestige about being part of the club or the team that is doing really well. And most of the clubs as well, even if they're riding for a team, they'll have their clubs insert as well. So cycling club in name. It's great to see because the camaraderie is on and off the ball and in and out of real life.
Yeah, we are seeing the chase now coming here from the A category. And we're speaking again of the ride leaders out here. Kay Leonard here sacrificing some time as well as some wattage here toward the front end of this group in order to lead them along with that beacon here. They're about to catch their D category for the first time out there and come flying right on through. At least a few of their D category that are up ahead here. It does look like a U17 rider, WP Taz here with it is Stretton. hammered away up toward the front, 173 beats per minute currently right now. So solid effort so far, but a lot of the A category already struggling, I think. I'm not sure we do still have even close to 29 riders. I'm seeing 18, now 19. So already 10 of the riders, I believe, from that A category have been dropped off. So it's been absolutely an incessant pace, obviously, amongst them to drop 10 riders this early. Now, that's, again, we speak about this sometimes being maybe not the best way to make the race happen, though, dropping off too many too early. But with how big of a time gap, I mean, it was over 10 minutes right from the get-go. With 10 laps out there, 29 kilometers in total, they really got a kick. I mean, we're already a third of the way done with this race out here today, and they still have 9 minutes to go here. I have a feeling that this is most definitely in favor of the C and D category out there today with the amount of time gaps and being that flatter course. We said it up front. You know, the A category did get the win the first time out there for the 10 laps on this loop specifically, but that was with a little bit different situation with the time gap. You know, they were given a little extra leeway, the C and the D category, this week. So, you know, the A category, they caught very early, though, here, too. But with that extra motivation, perhaps it will be a day for the Ds or the Cs. I have a feeling with these kind of time gaps still 357, 846, as you do see on the left-hand side. Cs, 357 back. They got to really put a kick in here. There's the D categories holding on to some solid time here. But look at that for the A's, 844 still. B's, 606. It's not coming down very quickly, and there's not a lot of landscape left to work with.
Yeah, but I think probably front three grades are really in a good position. You've got to remember it's who can maintain the speed. This course, it's a fast course. There's not really much up and down, and so the variance in pace shouldn't be there. A grade short a pretty standard pace. You suggest they've dropped a lot of riders early. You touched on Stretton. Now, if his power to weight is on point for his race past 3 weeks in the chop, I can tell you right now, if you're an under-17 athlete going to the national championships this year, he is a young man you want to keep an eye on because he is strong as an ox for his age. So shout out to Stratton from Tasmania. Got to keep in mind too that the A-grade category, they got the field effectively. That plays games too because when it's in training, you think, oh, we're doing really well. There's D-grade. Oh, hang on. No, we've got 2.8 kilometres more to catch again. So there's quite a lot of distance, and for that, it gives the front groups real hope that this week they can hang on. So they need to keep working well together. High heart rates back and in the group. 180 mark, that's about what you see in this race.
Yeah, we are getting just now a little bit of an update from our C category here. And for those of you that are out there wondering what's going on with the C category leader, it does look like the laptop has crashed for Crystal this week. So just like in real life, once in a while you do get a flat. No stopping for the flats out there, though. It's not going to help at all in the chop racing, so you got to keep it going. They will not have the beacon or the bacon out there any longer to lead things along, so keep the pace up as it looks like Crystal has had a laptop crash. And sorry to hear, Crystal, and we'll see you out there next week. And hopefully you can get at least get back out and get a workout in after you get the laptop back up and running. Sorry to hear that you did have that crash out there, but we are seeing here in the C category, it does look like they're getting a little bit organized to the front, but we're going to have some new leadership, it looks like, without the bacon or the beacon. As as they like to call it in AHDR, the bacon, no longer out there to chase around out on course. So we'll see if they do stay together and stay organized here without the encouragement out there coming from Crystal here. But we are seeing Japan here leading things out with Daniels as well, WP Task with Delante, and it's going to be Cole as well. We did see a little bit of chatter as well coming up from Daryl Brown, letting us know that he's watching the stream. And Daryl, last week we did watch him come right to the line up against that B category. So he's watching the stream this week, sick in bed and freezing Ballarat. Just got pipped at the line last week by B grade. And so, Pat, you were chatting about this, how quote-unquote cold it is in the land down under right now. Come on, give me an idea what you guys think is cold down there. We'll have to judge whether or not this is actually freezing or not. I think you even used the words Arctic. I think you said Arctic at one time.
Yeah, although I've never been to the Arctic. But what I can say is that Ballarat has this unique ability in winter to create wind and wind that then makes it so freezing. Tonight we've got a weather warning, but we just get really strong winds and really not so much that it snows that often, Nathan, but that just the wind is icy cold. And tonight when I was bringing the bikes in from out the front, I just was shivering. That's when we got on the stream with you, and I said, "Oh, we've got some Arctic temperatures here." Out to Brownie, in keeping warm. Looking forward to getting in that warm bed later on tonight myself.
Does look like a Kai here coming out of Japan, maybe taking a little bit of a rest on the side of the road there. So we're going to jump back in with our A category. And it does look like Hodges here, solid 137 beats per minute, starts to kick up toward the front here. It's all about those over-unders. James Hodges, man, he has been jumping in just about every race that's been out there as of recently and really been burning some matches for that KRT team. He was in the Zwift Community Test Labs. He was also doing the Fusion ECT Series this past week, Tuesday, and now jumping into the chop racing. Hodges definitely showing up for racing all week long. One of the longest standing racers out on Zwift. Also helps out a lot with Zwift Power, actually. Pretty much if you want to know anything about Zwift Power and how it runs in the background, that's the guy to talk to here. But Hodges now making his way to the front, 6.9 watts per kilogram, raising that heart rate back up with those over-unders, and it looks like push-up guys. We're hearing from Kay Leonard here from Innovation, getting some encouragement on. But look at the breakup here in the A category. They're really motivated, but that motivation here is causing these little bit of gaps. But if you got the power and you get a 5 or 6, maybe even 7-man team off the front, it sometimes is an advantage if you're not holding, if you're not holding back in order to allow people to take a pole that just can't push 5-6 watts per kilogram on the front. Some of these riders here have that kind of talent in this A category to push that kind of wattage, but only 2 minutes have been brought back, and at this point, 12 kilometers, as you can see, in with 17 in for that D category. They've still got a solid 5 kilometers to close down, and we are a little bit over halfway point at this point. So a lot of landscape to make up, but will the D category, as you said, Pat, be able to hold on to the pace, though, all the way through? We're going to get eyes here on the C and the D category, see how things are going here. But the live time gaps on the left-hand side are starting to tell a little bit of a story, as the D category seems to have a lot of firepower in their legs this week, holding on to a lot of time still. That C category hasn't really budged anywhere closer at this point.
Well, the other thing to keep in mind is the size of the group as well. So this is where I have been trying to recruit for all each week, because the bigger the group, the better the chance of more military, more artillery, use more fire. And you talk about the firepower because of the distance that D grade is maintaining at the moment, but they also have a sized group left, and probably the more important part, because as they come down to the end, they're going to need those turns by the riders on the front. And when you've got lots of left, you can continue to get riders to come past, inject speed into the group. But I think you called it earlier. Of course, really offer markers a opportunity because it's such high. There's not a lot of time in the race, and it sounds like something unusual to talk about. But conditions at a race are very obviously not much wind, actually none. But we talk about an entire that when you head out with the wind and you got a turnaround course, so let's say even 5 kilometers out, 5 kilometers back, if you're heading out in the head, you're never going to go as fast as what you are in the tailwind. So you spend more time pushing into that 5 kilometers of distance than you do the second 5. But that's the time to make up time on the rest of this. But tonight, in the course. So A grade with less numbers is really handy in this.
Yeah, we are seeing here the A grade really starting to push the pedals here now. But, 4.9, 5.0 watts per kilogram on the front here. And it's still such a good distance, though, between them and that D grade. So as you were saying just now, I have a feeling that the C's and the D's, they may have this in the bag this week. D category still 10 kilometers, though, to make things happen. C category, they're 3:53 now at this point. So let's go ahead and take a look at a couple more of our shots here. Back in with the D category. I believe this may be one of the leaders. We'll be checking over in some of our zwiftpower.com as well for some of the back end here to see what exactly is happening with the live results. If you haven't checked out zwiftpower.com, that is the place to go for community racing results. Actually, it is a great tool that you can use to see where things are at live, actually, for a lot of these races. And as I do look through for the A, B, C, and D category on the live results at this point, it does look like the leader at this point, Brian Nolan, actually, with a 128 gap, actually, at 3.0 watts per kilogram, though. So Brian from the dirt team is going to be getting an upgrade, actually, I believe, with that kind of wattage here in that D category. But they're kind of all mixed in it amongst each other. It's interesting to see this week, this course, making things a lot more interesting. There's a chase group a little bit behind Brian Nolan, actually, containing Peter Gilmore, David Bray, as well as G. Stewart. They're just a little ways off the back of that with the C category. So Brian Nolan here actually hammered away, but it says he's got a B category ranking there as well with the watts per kilogram he's put out in the past. So one of the cool things also with the zwiftpower.com is because it knows the background of the riders as well. It does a pretty good job of figuring out where you should be and who you should be hanging out with out on course here. But looking through Gilmore now, this I believe is the leader for the D category at this point. 19.6 kilometers in at a solid 2.6 watts per kilogram. Got a little bit of a gap over Mulcairn here at this point, but it's a solo rider off the front. Now, this may be a situation, Pat, that changes things up here for that D category and the gaps that it can hold on to. But he's also kind of trying to work together with, I think, some of the C category riders that he has caught up to as well. So this is going to be interesting because he does have some wheels to grab onto here. But, you know, with it being so spread out at this point, this may be a bone to chase here for that C and B and A category if they can't get organized. Everything is so completely strung out this week. It's kind of every man and woman for himself out there.
And what that does is it skews the data a little bit because, as you've mentioned in previous weeks, the time for D grade goes off their first rider on the course. And if that rider is solo by 30 seconds, that data skews ever so slightly. And what we do know is that, well, basically 99% a solo rider is near as strong as a group over an extended distance. And this is what we touched on right at the top of the stream tonight, is that if you're going to win on this course, you're going to have to maintain a good pace all the way to the end. A few weeks ago on this exact course, this was a very similar situation, albeit A-grade had a bit stronger field and a few more riders, but A-grade came from nowhere to win. And as you also mentioned, the gaps are a bit. So that week, I think B-grade was a minute and a half head start or 2 minutes head start on A-graders. This week, they've got a minute. So I think B-grade's really in this. It's a question. Moves this solo move from D-grade do help them out at all?
Yeah, I'm not sure it's going to help out much at all. Now, I am looking through some of the other categories at this point. Last week's winner, Jason Sterney is out there, out on course in that B category, pushing the pace again, and they are on the chase again this week, so we'll have to keep an eye out on that. We are looking at the A category again here, and it's really strung out. They've brought it back to 7:17 at this point. 22.5 kilometers in so far, though, for that D category. You can see for the live results here on the live gaps on the left-hand side of the screen, and nothing is really moving anywhere at this point. But now, because of that front rider from the dirt team, you know, perhaps skewing the results a little bit, because he is a full 2 minutes and 12 seconds actually ahead of the other riders actually out on course. So because of that, the gaps that we are seeing out here maybe not really what the reality of the race is at this point. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm clicking through and I'm looking for on some of my other feeds here at this point where the actual D leaders are at and whether or not they're about to be caught I'm seeing O'Shea out here from the D category, 1.6 watts per kilogram, out in no man's land. I am seeing the A category, I believe, about to make one of their laps around the D category riders. D Alts is out there currently sitting in 5th place. As I do click through these D category riders, I'm seeing Prince AHDR out here as well amongst the women, it looks like, I believe, for the D category. Kamichi is out here, it looks like. We've got Gilmore, though. This is the leader here at this time, 22.1 kilometers in so far. And this looks to be the leader situation now. They are still, it looks like, 2:21 back from the leader on course. I think that the time gaps are showing us on the left-hand side as on our main feed that you were just looking at here. So that's actually going to mean that it's about a minute or so, a little over a minute at this point, between these D category riders and the rest of the fields. So interesting to see here. We'll see if they can hold off, but the gap isn't all that much at this point, as I believe they're getting chased down now. I'm looking behind a little ways here to see if I can find the A category is about to catch them for the first time, it looks like, and they're still about 7 kilometers. I'm not sure the A category is going to come anywhere near making this happen, with still a solid 2 kilometers between them and this D category, even more than that. So I think it's all said and done for the A category. Now it's going to be up to these Bs and Cs, though, to make this chase. This D category, though, so far out ahead now at this point still, with, from what I can tell, at least a kilometer or more now for this D category, holding on to a solid lead, 22.8, almost 23 kilometers into their race. I don't think anyone else on course is anywhere near that, Pat.
No, well, just yet, but still some time. And I've touched on it already. This surging pacing of the groups, it's not assisting. I think that the tractor for A grade this week, they're down to just 11. And by the vision that you were showing just moments ago of them working together, there really only seems to be 2, 3, maybe 4 riders really contributing to the workload. It's just not going to happen unless real effort is the consistency of rolling through. But definitely in the other categories, they were all in the race. We have seen A grade come from behind before, but in those weeks, they've usually caught B grade and they have some assistance as well. There's no Cam Roberts in. We aren't seeing some of the other strongest riders that we see in some races, but certainly good to see talents like Norton and Stratton in there. Lynn Zawadski, he needs to really push one of the stronger, more mature riders in greater chance. You see there, great revs per minute. The following out of revs per minute, a good pedal on that with 100 beats per minute. So good opportunities there for the young rider. Where are we looking? Is that following Norton again? But B grade still well and truly in the race. D grade, as you talked about before, when these riders go up the front, it skews that time gap a little bit. So we're closer race. What is on the live gap at the moment?
Yeah, definitely. We are looking through here at the C category here at this point, and the B and the C category, the only riders this week that actually seem to have any kind of cohesion to their efforts. I mean, the A category has some cohesion, but it's completely spread out. The D category has just been like completely smashed to bits at this point, as Gilmore has gone off the front. It looks like McNeil, though, perhaps as well, a part of a, no, not McNeil. It's actually Gilmore that's just absolutely smashing this D category, with Stewart there as well, 2.7, 2.6 from David Bray. We are seeing Craig Ian there at 2.9. I mean, there's some serious watts per kilogram for this D category this week. So a lot of upgrades going to be coming in, it looks like, as it's going to be Nicole Sutton at 2.5, who may be the only one who's not going to be needed an upgrade amongst that D category. It does look like we do have one C category rider about to make the catch, actually, and that is going to be John Magavero there at 3.4 watts per kilogram, maybe also a little bit over the category limits out there. So when it's all said and done, we'll have to wait and see how things do get figured out amongst the riders. But the A category now making a catch, going right on by, it looks like, a few of the riders out on course here now in the, it looks like, D category for their first catch out on course. Not sure it's going to make any kind of a difference, though, for that A category, as there's not a whole lot of landscape left to work with here at this point here. But don't give up, guys. We are seeing from Kay Leonard here, giving some encouragement to that A category, trying to make it happen here for them. Fifth place currently coming for Barnhill. It's going to be Zund here from the Carotene. Only 6 kilometers to go. We're here and here from the wow, almost double the race though to go here, and that's going to be about 2.5 laps for that A category. The D category, they've got about a lap and a half to go, so that's a lot of space, a full lap now to make up for that A category. 6:47. I think that's actually going to be more going to be closer to a, from what I can tell, take about 2, maybe even 3 minutes off of that. So it's still 3 minute though difference is a lot to make up for that A category on those live time gaps here. C category has made the catch. At the front, though, of the race, I believe. I'm going to see if I can find this rider out on course. It is John Magavero. Cole D is there as well, 4 minutes back, though, from the lead. So Cole D and Alex Calejo, I believe, the actual leaders in the C category. We'll see if we can find them out on course here, as the C category is still making the chase. It looks like they may be able to do it this week, though, as they are about, I believe, 20 seconds back from the main group out there for the D category at this point. So if we can find Kaleo and the rest out there, we will do so and give you guys some shots there of the C category making the chase and catching up to that main pack. And I do believe we do have it here. Jay Smith, it looks like A Love is there as well. It looks like Danos here, B. Nolan from that dirt team we were speaking about a little bit earlier. In this C category, we called it before the start of the race, and Thomas from AHDR here, it looks like, was able to make that catch, if I'm not incorrect here. And I think the C category, there's 2 seconds now between them and Prince now, 7 seconds up to D Alts. How much time do they need to actually make up here? 25.9 kilometers in. Collins is just a little ways up here, it looks like here. So it does look like the catch may be made. It's about 30 seconds is the difference. The lifetime gaps, they're a little bit off again this week because a couple of riders mixing up that aren't actually a part of the race now at this point because of their over categorization, not putting out the right watts per kilogram. So just so everybody knows, if you're confused about what I'm talking about the categorization and disqualification and not being in the right categories, for the D category is 0 to 2.5 watts per kilogram that you should be able to hold for your functional threshold power. That is how many watts you can hold divided by your body weight should be under 2.5 or under for a functional threshold power test. For that C category, it is going to be 2.5 to 2.2. For the B category, 3.2 to 4.0. And for the A category, anything over 4.0 watts per kilogram. So as you can see here, some of the riders that did jump into that D category did just kind of ride off the front and cause some time gaps that were not keeping things correct on the real-time results. But Kaleo here, along with a few others, about to make a catch perhaps, but trying to keep it strong. Schmidt here, as you can see from dirt, it looks like Stewart there a little ways off the front. We're going to see if we can find the catch proper, but I'm still trying to decipher a little bit if they have done so or not. I do believe it is still a time gap, though, between this group and the front, which is David Bray, along with G. Stewart and Peter Gilmore. They're still working together just a little ways up here from Arbath and the rest of the C category. I think they do have enough time left in order to make the catch here, but I do not believe they've made the catch just as of yet. Poli here, it looks like Delante here, WP Taz, and we aren't quite getting into sight here. It's got to be over 20 seconds then, obviously, as we're looking at Delante and the rest of the C category with, I believe, about 2K to go, 1 lap to go at this point. They've got about 30 seconds to make up with 1 lap to go, Pat. Not sure it's going to happen. It's really coming right down to the line. I didn't think it was going to be quite as exciting of a race because I thought it was going to just be all said and done for that D category. Things were so strung out, it didn't look like any cohesion, but C category kept their wits about them, and they might be able to make this happen.
Yeah, well, they've got a good group, good sized group, and that's what's important when you come into these final kilometres. 2Ks to go. They're going to need those cylinders, though, because with the speed that we're travelling at, 46, 47 kilometres now, 2 kilometres doesn't very long, Nathan, and it doesn't offer much time to make the catch. In riders that have the wrong categories, I think we're seeing the chop become such a massive participation event every week that so many new riders are joining in. So I think we give them the pass card this week, but make sure you get in the right category next week. It makes it for a much more exciting race as well. So right at the front, and how's the pace being put on? Pushing sometimes over 400 watts, but Kaleo having a bit of a wattage drop out there, Nathan.
Yeah, Kaleo, Alex needs to get back on it here, it looks like. But man, this is really coming right down the line, making things really exciting actually here amongst this race now for the C and the D category. It's only 18 seconds, 17 seconds difference between the riders here at this point. What's going to happen? This is getting super interesting. See if we can make our way forward here, because it looks like it's just going to come down to a sprint effort between this D category and the C category. They have not made the catch yet. The C category really starting to ramp things up. We're trying to work our way forward here on the feed. It does look like it's going to be 3 seconds here now, as all the differences between Gilmore and now there is one still. It looks like McNeil that's still off the front here, but David Bray along with G. Stewart and Pete Gilmore, I believe, have just been caught. And there it is. That is the catch. The C category has made it happen this week. Where is the B category? I'm not sure that they're going to be able to catch them. B category still, I believe, 2 minutes back at this point here. So the C category, we called it before the race, able to pull things off, and now they're coming into the finish line. It's going to be a sprint finish with a large pack actually out here today. They're going to take this left-hand turn. There's a little bit of a bridge, and then there's a kick and a little bit of a 7 to 8% gradient, and then a downhill sprint into the finish, which is just absolutely the highest speeds you could possibly get. Logan is here now, as you can see. Actually, I believe this is one of the viewers over on Twitch now, hammering away, 175 beats per minute, getting a little bit of TV time, and this is quite a bunch sprint. We don't usually see something like this from the C category, Pat. Super exciting for them this week.
Yeah, and keep an eye on Bernard. He's got a fast finish. So he's in there in the top 10. Great to see Locatus. He was getting in the comments before a lot earlier, and he's pushing some really good power here. It's going to be a really exciting finish. What do we got, Nathan? About 40-odd riders here, still C-grade category. So, and they're starting up right on the front. It's a big sprint already.
Yeah, and here we go. It does look like it's going to be, we're looking for the orange numbers here. Where are the riders here? It does look like it's Stein off the front here, coming out of South Africa. Power-ups going left and right here at this point. South African rider, though, Stein with 13 watts per kilogram. Green from SAS. Abbott's right behind him here, but the distance was there, and Stein makes it happen here for South Africa in the C category. Takes the win, it looks like here. This is an interesting, since the latest update on Zwift, we have this little, like, show off turnaround thing that the avatars are doing at the end of the race. At the end of the race, they cross the line, and that's the new, like, let's do a little throw our hands in the air perhaps or something at the finish of the races here. But solid result there for the C category, able to bring the win in out there today. And it does look like it was Jax Rubin Stein at 3.2 watts per kilogram, right on category limits. John McGavero there for Team AHDR at 3.4 did get a gap of a solid 1 minute and 10 seconds out there, but I do believe he will be getting a category upgrade. Brian Nolan wins it outright, I believe, from the Zwift Power results from what we can see, but was at 3.0 watts per kilogram for a D category with a 5-minute head start. So he'll be getting an upgrade, it looks like, into that C category, but congratulations and good job to him jumping out there, getting a solid workout. But now we do see it ramping up for the A category. Here's their sprint. This is a very early go for Zawadzki here from Vision, though, because this bridge is actually about a K out from the finish line still. They still got the little kick on the uphill. See if he can get the gap here. Norton is trying to close things down from SAP. Frazier there from Park Life. It looks like Robertson from BRT as well as Carter starting to lead things out. Don't think this is going to go anywhere for Zawadzki. Maybe a little bit too early of an attack here, as I think he's going to get the Hurricane of Pain going to be coming from behind here as they do head out uphill. Still 8.4 watts per kilometer, but 192 beats per minute here, Pat. Are we calling it for SAP, though? Hodges, who's going to win this one?
Well, it's a big lead out, and it's going to be an interesting sprint finish. Now to see Zawadzki struggle after that long lead out, and it looks like it is going to be Hodges go over the top with Stretton, Carter, and Pell right there in tow. But it looks like it will be Hodges. Is it to the line?
Yeah, Hodges with a solid kick there early on, finds the right timing there. Riley, it looks like, right behind him with Stretton. Your boy Stretton coming across the line there, it looks like, right at the last moment. For third place, we'll have to take a look at the replay, but solid result for Stretton there. U17 rider getting to the line. It looked like it was in third place for that A category, but for the race, for the overalls amongst the categories out there, let's go ahead and take a quick look here. It is going to be the AHDR the Chop with a C category sweeping the top 10 there. Jacques Robinstein there coming across in first place. Looks like Stuart Green there coming for second. Gary Gaffo there coming in for third for Team Type 1. Rounded out the top 10, we'll go on through James Harper, followed up by Peter Maka, and then it's going to be Cole D, Team AHDR, Jerome Smith, and then Andres Neverdal. It's going to be Ian Davidson for St. Spinner CC, and Emily Thompson for Team AHDR. Let's see if we can get a quick look here at the replay, though, of that sprint finish. It was a solid sprint finish, and, always really awesome to see so many of the riders coming in all together out there for that C category. So it does look like here we go, the wind-up, and we tried to find it there. It was Stein coming over the top there in the lead, and it does look like that this sprint specifically, taking the lead from the get-go, is the way to do it. As you can see, as Stein comes across the line there. Next one on course now. Let's go ahead and see if we can grab the replay from that A category as well, as that was a solid result for those boys. It was, as we do see Hodges here, with a solid gap right from the get-go, and comes over the top 3 seconds, not even challenged. But look behind there, Riley just looks like coming across the line with Stretton right behind him there for that third place there. And then it does look like it's going to be Zund followed up by Carter from that BRT team. Good to see the U17 rider out there that you were speaking of, being a talent up and coming, mixing it up amongst the riders out there, Pat. It's always cool to see, and especially with this virtual world of gaming, being able to mix it up with some of the fastest riders from Australia as well as New Zealand out there, pushing this young rider and taking him to the next level, I think, is what we see a lot of times with the Zwift racing, Pat.
Yeah, certainly. It gives them the exposure to racing that they do at their age. They're not allowed to race in the elite level or under 3 levels, so they're unlimited gears, a lot of these do. So rather than a 52 chainring on the front, they're running a 39 and a 40 chainring in Australia. So we have a restricted gear for that age category, and at the back, 14 cog, not a 12, not an 11, just a 14. So that's why you'll see Stretton always a very high cadence. And there's other young riders in there as well tonight. We did mention Van der Ploeg, also from Tasmania. They had a great youth talent pool down there at the moment, but it's fantastic to see nearly turning up each week, because exposure long term, they will gain significant benefits. And yes, as Wendy says, congratulations to Steiny. Well done, Steiny. Good sprint this week. And a great race. C-grade, well, you called it from the start, Nathan, so hats off to you. And although their ride leader had a puncture of the keyboard potentially, they still held on, so they'll be very happy.
Yeah, they definitely great jobs out there to that C category. We did call it early on. Appreciate that. So, real quick, Pat, how's the training going? I think that's what all the viewers really want to know.
Well, at least I'm back on the bike, mate. Thanks for putting my nose in. Back on the bike doing some training. But I told my son's basketball training last night, and the old back just doesn't pull up as nice as it used to. I used to be able to throw a few shots up, be okay. But this morning, a little bit stiff. Back on the bike this week after a trip to Queensland last weekend. But I'm ready, mate. 5 weeks to go.
Sounds good. Zwift Academy, lots of workouts to do over there. Hey, Pat. So hopefully everybody's signing up along with Pat. Any workout that Pat joins for Zwift Academy, make sure you get in there and give him a little reminder in the chat. Hopefully we'll make that happen. Pat, appreciate it as always, and we'll see you next week for the launch event, I believe, for a new Chop series. So that'll be good fun. Thanks everybody for tuning in as always. If you haven't done so, make sure to hit that follow button wherever you're watching. We are live on Twitch, YouTube, Mixer, as well as Facebook. Turn on that little bell notification so that you know anytime that we do go live. Next time we will be seeing you is going to be next Tuesday on Zwift Community Live for Fusion ECT Racing Series number 3. All about verification and making sure that racing is clean out on Zwift. It seems what Fusion is all about. Lots as well as the Zwift Classics will be on Zwift Live next week with the men's race, and then we are going to be having Zwift Community Live's test labs and more chop racing. So make sure to tune in for everything next week. As always, everybody, thanks for tuning in and ride on.